Hey everyone, so today we're going to do a video on the 7 worst things about Houston. It pains us to do this, but hey, not everything is perfect. We don't want to tell you that, so let's get into it.
Hey everyone, I'm Amber Moore.
And I'm Bret Wallace.
And we're your Houston Local Guide. Okay, so as Bret mentioned today, we're going to be talking about the worst things about the Houston area.
7 to be exact, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to go on too much.
And it pains us, okay? So before we get into the great content that we have for you today, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We do release a new video every single week. And don't forget, get our phone number and email below. Save us as your favorite contact. We are realtors here in the Houston area, so we do get asked a lot about what it's like to live in Houston. We have a lot of people coming in from other states. We actually just showed a client around that came in from California. And so we are brutally honest with people too.
Yeah, and one of the items we thought of because of what she asked for in a community, I'm like, we can't offer that here because there's the... Anyway, we'll tell you, that'll be number 6.
Yeah.
No, number 5? Number 5. It'll be number 5.
It's going to be in the list. Okay, so Bret, number 1, we have to say, is the traffic.
Yeah, definitely. So, like a lot of cities, obviously, the roadways, the interstates, the freeway, it was not meant for the amount of the influx of people that we've had come to our great city. So,
because we're right now at about 7 million plus. That's right. 7 million plus living in the greater Houston area. When we were growing up, we've said this before, it was around the 4 million mark.
Yeah.
So we're going to be close to doubling this soon.
And even in the city we grew up in, Richmond-Rosenberg, which is 20 miles southwest of Houston, you know, you could get across town in 10 minutes no matter what. Now in Rosenberg, good luck. You're in traffic jams in the little small community that we grew up walking around like Mayberry almost. It's crazy.
Exactly. So obviously, bigger the population, more cars are on the road. And this is why we really work with clients very specifically on, okay, where are you going to work? Okay, you don't want a long commute. You better live very close to where you're going to work.
And that's the cool thing.
Yeah.
Google Maps is so awesome. So when people tell me, hey, I'm going to be working in downtown.
Right.
And I want my kids here. I'm like, okay, so where's the center point of all your activities going to be? And then what time of the day are you going to be commuting?
Yeah.
So the cool thing about Google Maps is I'm like, hey, you have to be at work at 9? Okay. Wherever you're at, and you could be in Cincinnati, you can get on Google Maps and say, okay, here we're in the Spring Branch area where we want to live, and here's the address of my, the Chase Tower downtown or Chevron or the building downtown where you work. Plug it in and see what the drive time is at 7:45 a.m. or 8:15 a.m. So you can kind of get drive time estimates with traffic built in. And it's more accurate than asking, my opinion on it. So that's always a cool feature.
Yeah.
But, like we've talked about in other videos, the how spread out Houston is.
That's actually going to be coming up here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of our saving graces, is that's a feature. But yeah, like at 610 inside the loop.
Oh yeah, get ready to see a lot of red brake lights. That's all we're saying, okay? That's something that we've become accustomed to, and it's one of the unfortunate things about living here. Okay, so let's jump into number 2. Okay, because we're kind of in the same vein. Drivers are on the list by themselves, okay? Because there are some crazy people on the road here. I'm not going to lie.
And no, not female drivers.
Thanks, Bret.
Okay.
Okay, but people do speed here. Okay, you might be going like 5 miles over the speed limit, possibly. So you might be going 75 in a 70, and there are people passing you, right? Especially
what are you doing?
Grand Parkway, 85, 90. Now, of course, there are police here. We thank God for our law enforcement, right? But I mean, people do not hesitate to put their foot on that gas at all. I mean, people fly. The other thing is there is some road rage. You're going to see people that get real huffy and puffy, cut you off. Yeah, he has no idea what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, I agree to a certain extent, but, I forget who said it, but they say that an armed society is a polite society. You don't want to roll up on a 1-ton F-350 and start making hand gestures to a jacked up, you know what I'm saying? Because, it's Houston. So I feel that while there might be a little bit of road, you don't have people like pulling over and saying, get out, get out of the car, let's... But, it's just... we're a very, very fast,
Yes, that is
touch
true.
and go city where everybody's got to go make money. Everybody's got to pick up this, so we're a very hustling and bustling city. And if
Yeah.
you slow that down, people do get a tad frustrated.
They do. They do.
But, not to the point where I see people getting out of cars and stuff like,
Yeah, hopefully not. I should also mention there are a high number of uninsured motorists here. And I'm just saying that to be, helpful, because if you are, looking at car insurance and reevaluating things when
Good
you're
point.
moving here, I would definitely get uninsured motorist coverage on your insurance policy. Doesn't hurt to have it. So if you unfortunately have a fender bender or a little accident and the other person doesn't have insurance, then you're not going to be out that money. Okay, so that's just a little bonus tip here for you in this part of the list.
Yeah, and it's
right?
very affordable with most insurance companies. So that's a very good point. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Definitely.
so Bret, number 3. We kind of touched on this earlier.
I alluded to it earlier. Amber was like, no, that's another point.
Everything is so spread out. You spend so much time in the car here, whether there's traffic or not. It's going to take you an hour to get it. Okay, so let's talk about our personal situation here.
Well, I mean, we do real estate.
Right.
So, when somebody sends me a listing, like they want to see, it's like 2:00 p.m. and like, hey, we want to see this at 6 tonight. I'm like, let me hit this address. Let me see where it is. I'm like, oh, that's okay. That's not bad. And then sometimes you're like, whew. Do you have any others we got to see when we're out there? So Houston is super, super spread out.
Yeah.
We're not Manhattan. We're not built on, we're not vertically just stacked on top of each other like sardines. So that's a great thing. But, this video, all it's about is there's a yin and a yang. There's a pro and a con.
Right.
There, it's you get some great benefits, and then there's some others. So the city is spread out, but that equates to long travel time sometimes.
Yeah.
Whether it's for business, for leisure, for recreational, at schools. If you definitely go to private schools, then there could be a commute depending on where you live.
Right.
So yeah, definitely the nature of our town and how spread out it is.
Absolutely.
Can definitely add some drive time in your life.
I would say if something takes you about 25 minutes to get to, that's actually not considered a long drive time. I know in a lot of people in other cities, you're like, oh my gosh, if something's like not in my 10-minute circle, it's a little crazy. No, here, I mean, we actually live about an hour apart, so we're used to making this drive all the time to do videos just like this.
Yeah, so I'm in Sugar Land, which is just 10 miles southwest of Houston.
Yeah.
And I've been doing real estate since 2008. And, I don't mind driving. I'll go anywhere my people ask me to go or they take me,
Yeah.
But, there are those times where it's like, if somebody I don't know calls me, I'm like, no, I have a friend in the Woodlands.
Yeah, he'll be like, call my sister. She lives in Spring. She's going to...
Yeah, so I've been referring all my North Side business for years of people that I don't know that well or just times that
Everyone's
I don't
going to want to move north
Yeah,
now.
so
Right.
spring, yeah, oh, that's nice. Good. That was a good touch. Yeah, 8th worst thing about living in Houston, Bret lives here. Okay, I got it. Okay, beat up on Bret time. So yeah, so on my North Side, I've always just pretty much given to somebody else. So Amber joined in the real estate world and joined the team. And so I'm like, great, I can actually send the business to somebody that I trust and know there's just an awesome agent, keep it in the family. So
we're making this a positive video now. I like it, right?
No, let's get back to the doom and gloom.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, guys, so number 4, the weather. Okay, it's not even a secret, I'm sure, right? So we've grown up here. We're accustomed to the brutal summers and the lack of seasonality, I would say. So in the summer, you're looking at getting up in triple digits, no question. Right.
Yeah, and it's not like that Lake Havasu, Phoenix heat. Okay, that dry heat, that desert. Is it arid? Is that the word? Is that even a word at all? But it's not that kind of heat. It's that
rainforest.
It's
type
that
feel.
swampy. It's that I can see the humidity. It's like a cloud of mist, and it's just wet.
Yeah.
And
one of my favorite authors said it best. When you live in Houston, it's like you need a machete to cut through the humidity.
You can waft it. You can like cut through and see it. It's foggy. It's taking 2 showers a day, anytime from I'd say May to September.
Not abnormal.
You may want to plan that in your plan each day.
Exactly.
Budget time for that.
And speaking of weather, okay, so we're known for hurricanes. Hurricane Harvey, devastating. So the one thing we do tell all of our clients when they're moving here, get flood insurance. Even if you're not living in a flood zone or maybe where Harvey didn't affect, still get flood insurance.
Yeah, I sold a 15-story condo and I made them get flood insurance.
Okay, that sounds a little crazy. But no, it's true. We encourage everyone to do that. We also have smog here. So some days you're like, air pollution, ooh, not so great. We're probably not as bad as some other cities,
Yeah,
but
it's
it would
kind of
definitely
more-
rank up there.
Definitely on the east side, that's a little bit more where the industrial and the refineries and the ship channel, a little bit more on that side, which typically is the more industrial side of Houston.
Right.
But yeah, we don't have earthquakes, we don't have fires or on the
Not as many
scale.
tornadoes, I would
Yeah,
say either.
but there are some. But again,
Okay, now we're really scaring people, Bret.
Yeah, asteroids, they hit on every April. The asteroids,
like I'm in a Bruce Willis
it's
movie.
asteroid season. Yeah. Well, we're close to NASA, so we'll send them up there to go blow it up before it hits us. But yeah, so again, but the cool thing,
Yeah.
you got to give a flip side. Remember,
Okay, yeah. Silver lining.
When people come down here, I can't imagine like buying a home in Wisconsin or somewhere and spending 30, 40, 60 grand. She has like, where is he going with this? On a pool, and only being able to use it from June to August or May to September, or 4 months out of the year. Houston, you have a pool. You're going to be able to not only entertain out there, you're going to be able to get in the pool. I'm not even talking about a heated pool. You're going to be able to get in a regular pool.
That's true.
8.5 months out of the year, and if you do have a heater, go for it year round. It's not going to have to just work in overtime. It's not like it's 25 outside all the time.
That's right.
So, like she says, lacks seasonality. It's either, I don't know. It's either really really hot or kind of temperate. It's mild. It's
You could be
livable.
wearing shorts at Christmas on occasion. Okay,
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real sad. I mean, it does get kind of cold here, but generally speaking, it's warmer than not.
Hey, and our stepdad's from Boston, and he tells us stories about shoveling snow. Like, hey, chains on tires, none of that here. So if you're up north and you just love that aspect of your climate, we can't provide that down here.
Yeah, in fact, the city shuts down if there's any ice on the road. So schools are out for session. I mean,
one snowflake, call it in for the week. So
exactly. Okay, moving on. Okay, so number 5. I even hate to talk about this. It's so gross.
This is the one our California buyer was telling us they didn't want.
Oh, okay. So
can I get into a neighborhood that doesn't have mosquitoes
or cockroaches?
I can find you something without the cockroaches, but
Really?
the mosquitoes, yeah,
Oh,
mosquitoes
okay.
are ubiquitous, right? They're everywhere.
Yeah. So when we were younger, going out in the summer, you want to go out and look at the fireworks, the 4th of July. What would the parents do? Get that big can of off.
Oh, yeah,
They're
the
like
orange.
spraying us down full body. It is no joke. I'm one of those people who get eaten alive, and you have to be prepared. Now, thank God there's other brands and things that, like, there's all kinds of different repellents now, right? All natural, all of this. But be prepared. You're going to need to stock up because when it gets warm, especially in the summer, the mosquitoes are out in full force. There's many breeds here as well. I've been reading about this.
Yeah, and if you're in any type of neighborhood, your HOA is going to pay a company's a pest
That's
control.
a good point. Yeah.
So like at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, you'll be in the living room and you'll see somebody driving by and just smoke. They're fumigating the area. So especially after, because like I said, during the spring and summer, we get a lot of rain. There's some rainy season, and once it rains 2-3 days straight, we're like, we know what's happening next week, and you got to carry a switchblade or a knife on you because these guys ain't playing. These mosquitoes.
No, they're not. I mean, and just going back to cockroaches for a second, because you and I both have pools. Oh gosh, and then some of them like kind of fly off or leap off from point to point.
We live in different sides of Houston. I don't get as many of the cockroaches, but I'll
they're
take
like
our word.
They're huge. I mean,
Aren't they
my
like
gosh.
tree cockroaches? Aren't they called tree cockroaches?
Yeah, that's what they're also called. And as I have palm trees in my backyard, they freak me out, guys. I'm not
I have
kidding.
palm trees in my backyard.
Okay. Well, like I can handle spiders and all that
I have
normal
palm trees,
stuff,
too.
but the cockroaches, okay, fit to be tied. Okay, so moving on. Enough about that topic. Number 6, it's unfortunate, but we have to address it, right, is crime.
And like with anything, just like neighborhoods, how are the schools, Bret? Well, okay, which schools, what neighborhood, what pocket,
right.
crime. Yeah, so like any big city, I don't know the rates. I know you've looked into this a little bit more because you're a little closer to the city than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not Chicago level, obviously. Houston, 2020 was a pretty volatile year all around, so I don't want to base all numbers on that. But,
exactly.
You get into the city, you get some of the city problems and challenges that many of the big communities in our country face.
Yeah.
HPD, the Houston Police Department, does a great job in the Harris County Sheriff's Department. They are given a pretty decent leash, I'd say, of being able to kind of enforce, and we're not on the defensive as much, I feel, as far as
Right.
law enforcement down here, some places, but there are definitely challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting. I met someone at an open house recently. She moved from Minnesota. She was telling me, like, there's hardly any crime. And so the things she did mention is I moved down here and then I was very close to something that happened and it really scared her. And I was like, unfortunately, it is part of living in a bigger city. And as Bret mentioned, you know, it has increased, especially in 2020, but that's indicative of the entire country. So again, we're not trying to paint a bad picture about Houston, but, you know, murder rates, robberies, there has been an increase. And so, you know, I mean, you can Google the stats, see for yourself, but that's just one thing to be aware of if you live here or are planning to move here.
Yeah, and there's a resource, I'm sure, any neighborhood, or I think it's crime maps that's FBI related, it's local.
Yeah.
So your local jurisdictions, whether it's the county or the city, I know the city of Sugar Land has precinct 16, precinct 17. The city has it broke down into whatever different sectors that they refer to it as, and it's a color coded map. So you'll see darker blue where more vandalism or robberies or assaults take place, and they'll list them like 13 reported this 3-month reporting period, and it'll have a lighter blue like where it's one domestic disturb, so
Right.
it kind of color codes it to where it kind of shows what precincts or what little areas within the city. So there's some really good resources, and again, your local real estate agents, being us or even other friends or family that you have in Houston that you might be thinking of moving and joining towards, get their opinion on things. But
Yeah.
definitely, 1 or 2 in the morning, you're at certain places in the city, by yourself, unescorted, with no business being there.
Not recommended.
Yeah. I mean, but that's that's just common sense.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, like I mentioned in the road rage, the traffic stuff, it is a reasonable expectation that here in Houston, that if you come across somebody that is 21 years of age or older, there's a high probability, or a lot more than any other cities in the country that I know about, other than Dallas, of course, and maybe San Antonio and Austin, but there's a very high likelihood that the person you're talking with is armed. So that does keep some riffraff and does the unknown, right? And we have open carry here in Texas. No one does that. I've seen it once or twice, and that's like at the deer lease or in more rural areas where someone goes into the gas station and they have a Colt 1911 or a handgun on their hip or their side, and it just was like, oh, that fits here. But if I would have seen that near the Galleria,
Right.
if I'd have been downtown Houston, I'd been like, that's So we don't see that often. Most people carry concealed here that do, and we encourage every law-abiding citizen, especially in real estate and people meeting with strangers. A lot of people carry down here, so that kind of deters not knowing. A lot of the criminals around here are very cautious of who they approach. So just be alert, be aware, and be cautious. Just of
Exactly
kind of what you're doing.
It's what we tell our kids too when they're going out. I have 4 teenagers, so I mean, we talk a lot about this. Okay, Bret. So the last one on the list, number 7, and I'm going to let you take this. I didn't know you were going to go on and on about crime. So
we were trying to find out number 7, and we had a loose outline of this, and I go, no question, let me take it. So
go ahead, Bret.
If you're a sports fan, you may want to keep whatever team, for whatever city you're relocating from, near and dear to your heart, because Houston sports fans, it's tough. We've had a long history of heartache.
Yeah.
And I know every city probably has this, but bad luck. I'm just going to recount a couple Houston sports fails or most painful. We both went to University of Houston. Both of our parents went there. So 1983, I think, 83, not 84. Elijah 5 Slamma Jamma, playing North Carolina State. Jimmy V, great, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Air ball, 4th quarter, we're winning. They catch it under the goal, shoot it up, win by 2 points, 52-50. The only national championship the U of H would have ever won, still to this day. We didn't win. Last second, crazy air ball, we thought we'd won. That's just one of the most famous sports highlights. So that's college. Once we start talking, let's go most recent. The Houston Astros finally win a world championship after
2017.
After all of these years, after Harvey, it's like this is finally coming. And then last year, the sign stealing and all that scandal. So there's an asterisk there. So We don't even feel like we fully have that now. And then our GM, the best GM in the business, the best coach in the business in the league, we fired them last year.
We got to talk about the Rockets too, right? They won championships back in the 90s.
Yeah, so 93, 94, Elijah Wan, Kenny Smith, Drexler, Vernon Maxwell. And of course, those were legit championships, great championships. It does make me think that if Michael Jordan hadn't taken his sabbatical and done the baseball thing after his father passed away, that's always what sports connoisseurs and sports writers say, that so y'all wouldn't have won those two. That's tough. And more recent with the Rockets in 2018, we're season ticket holders with Rockets basketball for life. But we have Chris Paul, James Harden on the same team. Chris Paul tears his hamstring, doesn't go Game 6 and Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors. We were up 3-2, and in Game 7 at Toyota Center, we missed 27 three-pointers in a row to finish the game and barely lose going to the finals.
Pains me.
Yeah, so, and let's go to football real quick.
Oh, boy. God.
Oiler Blue is still to this day. We haven't had the Oilers since the 90s. Oiler Blue with the oil derrick, and I mean, it's just famous. Like, if you're in Houston, you got to get the Oiler Blue. That pained us losing, it's House of Pain, the Astrodome under Jerry Glanville. I remember growing up watching this anyway, but yeah, so having that team leave, Bud Adams taking them to Nashville and becoming the Tennessee Titans, that just left a gaping hole in the hearts of all Houston sports football fans. Our Earl Campbell days, our Warren Moon, Haywood Jeffries, Chris Dishman, like all those guys. And then the Texans organization came in 2002 to save the day. And that's tough. It's tough being a Texans fan. But before we go to that, Oilers, 93, Bills, wild card, AFC playoff game in New York. We're up 35-2, and the Bills come back and beat us in overtime. The greatest comeback in football history was done to us, and that was a year that we definitely felt we had a championship caliber team. I can't even see the word Buffalo Bills or see their emblem or their mascot like on the TV without just. And I was 11 years old when this happened, and it just scarred me. So that's Oilers. Let's get back to the Texans. It's just been, I'm going on way too long.
I was like, we need to cut this. I'm getting depressed here, Bret.
Yeah, so the Texans, it's tough to be a Texans fan. Most recently, we were up 24-0 on the Kansas City Chiefs last year. Yeah, the Chiefs won that game in the playoffs, and then they won the Super Bowl. So, bring some Xanax with you if you're going to be a Houston sports team fan, or
Good advice, Bret.
or some lithium or whatever.
Okay.
You're going to need something to mellow out, or listening to some classical music, or just chill.
I think you need some right now. Okay, we should do some as an overlay.
Yeah,
here.
I wish we had a counter behind here to show my blood pressure. But so that was number 7. If you don't care about sports, cut the video at number 6. Sports don't matter. But we have a lot of great sports to offer. It's just we've had a sordid history with
we have.
with some heartache.
Okay, Bret, so we made it through the list. I do feel depressed, but I mean, this is a video that I feel like people needed to hear. We've been putting it off, but it's necessary. I mean, like any great city, it's not going to be perfect. So we just wanted to give it to you straight today. If you've liked the content of this video, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, our email and phone number are below. Please reach out to us anytime. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to work with you. If you're still looking to relocate to the Houston area after all of this, please
come see us.
Yeah,
please
give us a call. We'd love to work with you. Okay, see you next week.
I think we need to go to some world-class food for lunch after this one, okay?
Oh, yeah, okay. I need a little pick-me-up, Bret.
All right,
guys.
Thanks, guys, for watching.
See you next week. Bye. It just hasn't been recording the whole time.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I was thinking the entire time.